The Pittsburgh Tree of Life shooting motive, immigration. Posted on October 20, tagged Leave it. The news will focus on the usual platitudes of antisemitism and bigotry instead of the reasons the shooter himself stated. It is tragic to see innocents hurt because of the politics of their leadership, so people need to be wary of what their leadership are doing. Welcoming migrants/supporting mass immigration is fine if you do it in your own country, with their approval, and support them with your own country's money. Flooding another people's country with migrants/immigrants without their consent and putting the burden on them is not charity, it is opening the gates to an invasion. It becomes very hypocritical when Jews support the exact opposite policy in Israel. They know the damaging effects that mass immigration into Israel would cause. Predictably, the media will use this as an excuse to push their agendas instead of asking the hard questions of what is really happening in our countries, who is promoting it and why. From the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Message on Bauer's Gab page, why hello there HIAS. You like to bring in hostile invaders to dwell among us? We appreciate the list of friends you have provided, and included a link to the website for HIAS National Refugee Shabbat, formerly the Hebrew Immigration Aid Society. HIAS was founded in 1881 to help Jews fleeing Eastern Europe. In the 2000s, it expanded its work to include non-Jewish refugees, including those fleeing Afghanistan, Bosnia, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, Ethiopia, Haiti, Hungary, Iran, Morocco, Poland, Romania, Tunisia, and Vietnam. HIAS led events held last weekend and billed online as a moment for congregations, organizations, and individuals around the country to create a Shabbat experience dedicated to refugees. Jewish Family and Community Services is listed on the HIAS website as a partner of the organization. The website indicates that JFCS and 3 Pittsburgh congregations were participating in the group's awareness campaign last weekend, Beth Shalom, Dor Hadosh, and Makam Halef. In an interview at the synagogue, a Muslim immigrant said, "I was with them meeting last week where they were welcoming Muslim refugees to this country."
Perhaps it was fate or an act.
Zero tolerance for anti-Semitic behavior. Zero tolerance for anti-Semitic violence.
People from all faiths came together to show love and solidarity.
I was with a meeting last week where they're welcoming Muslim refugees to this country. We can't express enough gratitude for what they've been doing, and to see them hurting like this is really heartbreaking.
The media will use the shooting to push for gun control and restrictions on free speech. This is because they do not have the truth on their side. Their main tactics are deplatforming, censorship, and economic lawfare. Becoming aware of what is really happening is considered radicalized, and pointing out who is carrying it out is anti-Semitic and hateful. Antisemitism is used as a shield to block anyone from shining a light on their activities. With a little research you can easily find out who are the largest proponents of mass immigration. One of the largest is the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, HIAS. Here is the president of HIAS admitting to assisting in the flooding of America with migrants. They are very charitable in doing this in other people's countries but not in Israel. They will not suffer the long-term consequences of this immigration. Once the host is destroyed, they will flee to another.
The American Jewish community owes its very existence to those times when America kept its doors open for people who were fleeing persecution, and that's not happening right now. People need to see that this is affecting human beings. The problem is that this administration has dehumanized migrants and asylum seekers, and we're here to basically rehumanize them.
Another group called Israel has helped smuggle over 3 million refugees into Europe.
Working for Israel. They came to Greece in 2015 and are still stationed in Greece today. And every day they help thousands of women and children to reach Greece. So far, they have helped more than 3 million doctors and engineers to enter Europe illegally. Without them, Europe would not have been blessed with all the wonderful diversity and multiculturalism. I will always be grateful to them for smuggling people into Greece, but not into their own country, Israel.
The end result of this immigration is that European people will become minorities in most of their own countries within the next 30 to 40 years. They want to make it illegal to warn people about this. They will use this shooting as justification to restrict free speech online in America. Don't be surprised if a proposed antisemitism/hate speech law is proposed within the next year. We cannot allow America to be in the same situation as Europe, where simply questioning the official narrative of the Holocaust, pointing out the influx of refugees, or in any other way speaking out against the anti-white agenda is criminalized. But America is a nation of immigrants. Yes, it is, a nation of European immigrants. That is what the founders of the country intended and themselves stated. No nation that wants to survive would allow itself to become a minority in its own country. Once America becomes a non-white country, it will no longer be America. Its laws and institutions will change character to become more like the new inhabitants. Many countries around the world have laws specifically for protecting the demographic makeup of their country. These include Liberia, China, Israel, and Mexico. Read about what makes a good immigration policy here. How do we solve the problem of antisemitism? Multicultural democracy creates a situation where power is up for grabs. Because of this, it pits different groups against each other, whether it is ideological or racial groups. This causes eternal conflict. We need to officially recognize that America, Canada, Australia, and all the European countries are countries for European people. Other people are guests, not the owners or rulers of the country. Jews need to realize that they are guests in European people's countries and stop trying to subvert their cultures, their politicians, their laws, and their institutions. People act like antisemitism is some weird phantom that keeps reoccurring for some unknown reason. There are very real reasons for it recurring, but you will not find the answers in mainstream sources because anyone who dares expose Jewish power becomes the victim of that power. Just look at what happened to gab.com the same day as the shooting. They lost their web hosting. If a teacher exposes them, they lose their job. If a writer exposes them, they are blacklisted by publishers, and if a publisher will not blacklist them, the publisher itself becomes blacklisted financially via credit card processors, etc. It is a coordinated economic system of suppressing the truth. This is why the First Amendment of America is so important to protect. Never give it up. Sharing is caring.